We are following some breaking news on the campus of Virginia Tech, where 2 people have been shot and killed on the campus. The campus is on lockdown. The shooter at this hour is still on the loose.
And I think they might have caught the gunman.
This is what we know. The school says that a police officer was shot and killed during a routine traffic stop at the Coliseum parking lot just a couple of hours ago. Now, the school says that witnesses did report seeing this shooting, and the shooter left the scene immediately after those shots were fired and headed to another parking lot, the Cage, just nearby. And that is where police said that they had found a second victim.
The officer was shot and killed, and there were witnesses to that incident. Witnesses reported to police that the shooter fled on foot.
Virginia Tech freshman Juliet Fielding saw it happen, standing just yards away from the stricken police officer's car.
The officer was shot and killed, and there were witnesses to that incident.
Juliet Fielding was one of them.
And they opened his car door.
So you didn't see a gunman? You didn't see anything abnormal at all except for when they opened the car door?
Yeah, and I saw his face.
And so you didn't hear any shots, anything like that?
No, the kid, another kid got out of his car, and I guess it just happened because he was like, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" And I was like, "No, what are you talking about? I just heard the sirens." So I guess it was just a few seconds earlier.
Virginia police chiefs and senior officials were away from campus today. They were in Washington appealing a fine for those delays in alerting students during the 2007 shooting. Thankfully, today there were not the same delays, and David, that may have helped avert a more severe tragedy.
Today, tragedy again struck Virginia Tech in a wanton act of violence where a police officer was murdered during a routine traffic stop. And in light of the turmoil and the trauma and the tragedy suffered by this campus by guns, I can only say that words don't describe our feelings, and they're most elusive.
Virginia's governor signed a repeal of a 19-year-old law that limited handgun purchasers to 1 handgun a month. He did so over the objections of families of students killed or hurt in the worst mass shooting in U.S. history, the 2007 massacre at Virginia Tech. How could we...
Our hearts are broken again for the family of our police officer, and we extend our deepest sympathy and condolences. Police officers on this campus and in every police force in the nation routinely put themselves at risk for our safety, and we are deeply grateful for their service.
Heroes are remembered, but legends never die.
Police say 22-year-old Ross Stewart Ashley was a part-time student at nearby Radford University. On Thursday, he shot and killed a police officer he had never met at a college he never attended.
All day yesterday, overnight, and continuing today, State Police, we've been in the process of piecing together the whereabouts of this male subject leading up to the shooting Thursday afternoon.
Police say the day before the shooting, Ashley had stolen an SUV at gunpoint in Radford. The car was later found abandoned on Tech's campus. They say the 22-year-old walked up to patrolman Derek Krause, who was in his patrol car, and fired, then ran to a nearby parking lot. Police say along the way he changed his clothes, and when a deputy spotted him, he took his own life.
So nobody actually witnessed him taking his own life.
Officer Krause had been on the force for 4 years, joining about 6 months after 33 people were killed in a classroom building and dorm, April 16, 2007. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
Joyce Bennett has more questions than answers. Why would he pick her real estate office? Why would he steal her car? And why would a college student who appeared to be normal turn so violent? Joyce Bennett is back working in the same office, driving the same Mercedes SUV.
We decided last week we weren't going to close the doors. We just kept going on, and I think that's what you have to do.
It was a busy Wednesday morning at Gilbert Real Estate when around 11:30, a young man wearing a black baseball cap, fleece jacket, and carrying a book bag entered the small office on Calhoun Street.
He was very cool, calm, together. He was clean-shaven. He was a nice-looking young man.
Ross Ashley asked the assistant property manager to speak to the lady in the back office. That's when the terrifying moments began.
He stands there in front of my desk, and he asked for me to give him my car keys, and I sit back and I'm like, you know, you're kidding me. And then he pulls the gun out, and he does this to me.
Bennett follows orders, but before he leaves, Ashley leaves her with this final warning.
He said, don't do anything stupid several times to us. and then he was gone.
The next time Bennett saw Ross Ashley was in a crime scene photo after his suicide.
Then looking at a photograph of this young man after he had done what he had done to himself, I was in shock and then more shock.
Now, Gilbert Real Estate managed Ross Ashley's apartment. Bennett says he wasn't behind on rent, and she saw no motive for why he targeted her. Police recovered her white Mercedes SUV not far from Virginia Tech's campus, hidden behind a building. Bennett says it was in the same condition as it was when she left it, except for the smell of cigarette smoke.
Tell me who sent you here, what agency, who's paying for this time you're wasting, who signs when you submit receipts? What do they have on you to bribe you? What's the threat they held above that very pleasing face? What do they want from me? As for that set of tools we spoke about, I doubt that I'm the sharpest one. The manuals I come with clearly read I cut. So you're not fooling anybody. We all know that you couldn't be here out of love. You must really think that I am dumb. Well, I know a thing or two about a thing or two. And one of them's the fact that men like me don't ever get no second chance. Not for the kind of man who showed up at death's door and dinged on dad so much you wore a hole out on a welcome mat. But you're good. Wade just smiled at me. Pro move. Unless a man will fall for that. Just drift into the thrill of you. Why don't you just admit the truth that you've been trained to withstand pain, and that's the only way my crazy is not killing you.
God bless you, and go Hokies.
I'm on to you, on to you, on to you, on to you. No more lies. I'm on to you, on to you. Then again, you might be out of your goddamn mind. I wouldn't want to be a part of any love that would have me. I wouldn't want to be a part of any love that would have me. I wouldn't want to be a part of any love that would have me. I wouldn't want to be a part of any love that would have me. You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Well, hi, I'm Bob McDonald. I just want to say go Hokies. And where I need you to go over the next 2 weeks is to the polls and to get as many of your friends out. I tell you, the college Republicans around the state have just been extraordinary, getting other young people involved, knocking on doors, making phone calls, handing out literature, putting bumper stickers on. And that's what I need you to do for Bill and I and Ken and your House of Delegates candidates over these last couple of... Heroes are remembered, but legends never die.
The Legends of Blacksburg, the new private gated community of 72 luxury condominiums, will give you the opportunity to live in the shadows of Lane Stadium and Castle Coliseum while capturing the essence and excitement of living in Blacksburg. No one understands the excitement of living in Blacksburg better than Coach Beamer, and he hopes you will share his enthusiasm for the Legends of Blacksburg.
Appreciate your interest in the Legends Project. It's good for Blacksburg, it's good for Virginia Tech, and it's a great investment opportunity, which is why I was the first investor. I hope you'll join our winning team and help push us over the goal line.
Coldwell Banker Townside Realtors is the exclusive marketing agent for the Legends of Blacksburg, and their experienced marketing team is ready to work with you. Site preparations are underway and reservations are now being accepted. How close do you want to be? Come home to Virginia Tech. Come home to Blacksburg. Come home to the Legends of Blacksburg. It's as close as it gets.